political disputes is not through violence, and we see increasing levels of political violence in this country. Charlie would go to college campuses and he would articulate views that were very much outside of what most of the professors were offering or what the campus culture was offering. And the way to do that is to ask questions, debate. That's what the Republic is based on. And what happened today, was not just an attack on Charlie personally, but really an attack on the idea that we resolve these things through reasoned debate and elections. And so Casey and I are praying for him and his family, and this is not what we want for our country going forward. Joining me today, we're down in Miami-Dade County. We have the Department of Environmental Protection Secretary Alexis Lambert, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers Major General Jason Kelly down from D.C., and Drew Bartlett, Executive Director, South Florida Water Management District. We also got a number of board members. I don't know if Senator Garcia and Rodriguez made it. I know they were planning on it, but the weather's been bad. And I want to thank everybody who is here to celebrate this groundbreaking. So many of you know, you've been following since I took office in 2019. We've worked really hard to pull off the largest restoration efforts in the entire country and maybe in the world when you talk about restoring the Florida Everglades. And we did that because, one, we understand how important clean water is to the lifeblood of the state of Florida, not just in terms of the aquifer that provides water to millions of people in southern Florida, but also the way that it impacts Florida's economy and Florida's culture. And we knew that there was need to take action, and we needed to be bold, we needed to be swift, and we needed to get the job done. And if you look at, we got some visual aids over here. If you look at what the situation was prior to 2019, you had, just like the song Seminole Wind, you had man change the hydrology of what God had intended. And so it dammed up water. The southern Florida was not getting the water that it needed. Florida Bay was not getting the clean water that it needed. And then if you look now, both in what we've already done and then the projects we're going to talk about today, you see a much different picture. You see massive amounts of water flowing south from Lake Okeechobee down through the Florida Everglades and into Florida Bay. And that was not something that was happening prior to 2019. This is a massive, massive effort that's taking up a huge, huge portion of the state of Florida. We've completed both the C-43 and C-44 reservoirs. You remember 2016, massive discharges. You look at Stewart and the St. Lucie estuary. You had huge algae blooms, major impacts on the economy and the way of life. You look at 2018, massive discharges going into the Caloosahatchee, major events in terms of algae. The algae getting into the Gulf and mixing with the naturally occurring red tide, and that exacerbated that for some of the worst that we had ever seen. Now with these reservoirs, if the lake gets too high, they're able to store that excess water in the reservoirs, clean it, and then put it into the estuaries in a way that isn't going to cause harm to the surrounding environment. And that's good for Florida, that's good for the residents in our coastal regions, and ultimately helps us get where we need to go. So if you look at what we're doing now, massive reduction of phosphorus and nitrogen, the projects that we've done, annual removal close to 2 million pounds of nitrogen and 777 pounds of phosphorus. So why are we here today? Sitting in the rain, getting ready to get rained on even more. We have a situation where the Army Corps of Engineers is responsible for some of these projects. So, for example, the Everglades Agricultural Area Reservoir major issue, we did the Stormwater Treatment Center with state funds, and we got that done in record time. If you look at the overall EAA, Army Corps is working on it, made some progress, but you have other projects that hadn't even started yet. And so when President Trump took office, we requested, hey, send us some of that, send us the resources, give us authority over some of these projects, and the state of Florida will move forward because we believe we can get it done quicker. And so we negotiated with the Department of the Army and ended up coming up with a great agreement that is going to allow us to get permits expedited, red tape removed, and allow Florida to manage some of these projects. So as the Corps is doing some of their stuff, we're then also doing other stuff, and we can get this stuff completed before. So because of what we've been able to do, we have been able to dramatically increase the time, shorten the time, and increase the delivery of when the EAA reservoir would be completed. Under the Biden administration, it had kept falling further and further off schedule to where it wasn't going to be delivered till 2034. Now, we've done a lot. There will be a lot of other stuff that have been done by then, and certainly on the state, we've delivered so many projects. But 2034, it's like, you know, we started this, the EAA reservoir was passed in, I believe, 2018 by the Florida legislature. I came in 2019. I said, we're going to go guns blazing on that. 2034 wasn't acceptable. So now we are able to get it done by 2029, so much earlier than had been said before. So that's really, really good, really positive. And I will tell you, you've heard me over the years say, well, you know, we're doing this, Army Corps is doing that. Florida time's a little different than Army Corps time. It's just the way it is, right? It's the culture, the bureaucracy, all this stuff. I will tell you that I don't think, you know, we've seen such swift action out of the federal government than we have over the last couple months for what the Army Corps has done working with us on this. I mean, I really appreciate what they've done. I think that, you know, I remember talking to the Secretary of the Army. He's like, listen, you guys do things quick. We want to empower you. We want to do that. Let's work together. And that's exactly what's happened. So our agreement with the Army Corps has allowed us to assume responsibility for the project that we're breaking ground on today, the Blue Shanty Flowway. So as you look under there, it's one of the pump stations that's going to end up helping facilitate the movement of clean water through the Florida Everglades and down to Florida Bay. So today's announcement is, yes, after less than 2 months of signing the agreement, here we are breaking ground on the first major component of the Blue Shanty Flowway project. And that is a major, major deal. So the purpose of this is to deliver high volumes of water underneath the newly constructed bridges on Tamiami Trail. You look before, Tamiami Trail was a dam, basically. It would block the water from going south to the Everglades. Now raising that, getting those bridges up, we're continuing. There's multiple phases. We've done a lot. We're still doing more. You're going to be able to send this water south. You're able to uncork the flows of water so that they go down and are used in a really, really big way. And we have had, and part of it, it wasn't like bad intentions. They were damming this stuff with man-made structures because they were worried about communities flooding. Well, we have better ways to take care of that nowadays, and so we can handle that, but then also give the Everglades the water that it needs. And so we're in much better shape to be able to do that today. So we're excited about doing that. You know, I have a couple other comments, but these pages are, heck, I know what all this is, so it doesn't matter. I don't need to read from it. So this is good. So we're going to do this one. I think do we have the RFP for the other pump station, or is that that's out? So you're going to get that project is going to be fulfilled. And so I know where that's probably within the next few months or shorter than that. What do you think? Okay, so there you go. So the next pump station is going to be for approval. So that is remarkable progress. Had we not done this deal with the Army Corps, we probably would be in a situation where this would have taken years and years to maybe even get off the ground. So no one's worked harder on environmental restoration than we have at the state of Florida, both the DEP, South Florida Water Management District, but certainly now the Army Corps is really a great partner with us. So again, thanks to them for what they've done. Thanks to President Trump for being willing to sign off on this, and the Secretary of the Army. This is going to make a difference for the people of Florida, and I think really is going to be symbolic of what we can do when we really put our minds to things. I mean, we're so used to seeing government at different levels just fall on its face repeatedly. Here in Florida, we say, you know what? We're going to do things that matter to people. We're going to set out the objectives, and we are going to get it done. And this is a great example of that. What we've already done is historic. And then what we continue to do, that's what the people want to see. So this is an exciting day. Going to have a couple more people speak. I'm going to have the umbrella here for everybody, so don't worry. It's important duty. And then we'll go. Hopefully the rain will die down in the next 10 minutes, and then we can go and do the official groundbreaking. So we'll start. We're going to go Alexis Lambert. We're going to go the General, and then we're going to go Drew Bartlett. So come on up here and do it. I think one after another, and I'm going to come sit down here.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Governor. I'm Alexis Lambert, Secretary of the Florida Department of Environmental Protection, and the rain is coming, the water's coming, so it's working. Less than 8 weeks ago, the state of Florida and the U.S. Army signed a landmark agreement to accelerate restoration of America's Everglades. That agreement empowered Florida to take on additional restoration projects. And today, we're breaking ground on the first project assumed under that agreement, the Blue Shanty Flowway. That's proof that we're putting words behind this historic agreement. This restored wetland flowway will deliver more clean, fresh water south to Everglades National Park and Florida Bay, and lays the foundation for the additional flows we know will come when the EA Reservoir and other Central Everglades planning projects are complete. Since 2019, more than 75 Everglades restoration projects have been completed, broken ground, or reached key milestones. We are reducing harmful discharges, expanding water storage, and achieving meaningful results on time, under budget, and with strong returns for Florida's taxpayers. Unprecedented state funding has fueled it all, from the completed C-43 and C-44 reservoirs to the S-333 expansion to the Old Tamiami Trail removal. Every part of Everglades restoration is gaining momentum because of our commitment to this ecosystem. So today, with the Blue Shanty Flowway groundbreaking, we aren't just starting construction, we're beginning a new phase of Florida's Everglades restoration. Together with our federal partners, our communities, and the leadership of the state, we are restoring the river of grass, sending more clean water south, and securing Florida Bay for future generations. Thank you, Governor. General Kelly?
Governor DeSantis, distinguished state and local leaders, federal partners, thank you for being here today. Governor, your presence speaks volumes about the importance of this effort and the shared commitment that we bring to this effort. What an exciting day to be here. Today, we're standing at the intersection of momentum, commitment, and action. For decades, the water management system in the Everglades has created unintended consequences across South Florida, from Lake Okeechobee to the estuaries to the River of Grass and Florida Bay. But today, there has never been more dedication, more alignment, and more determination to reverse those impacts than right now. The Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan gives us the framework to work together efficiently and effectively. It allows us to restore flows, improve water supply, reduce flood risk, and increase resilience for the entire region. And let's be clear, Corps of Engineers does nothing alone. Our progress depends on the commitment of our partners. State of Florida, South Florida Water Management District, local governments, tribes, and the greater public. We're one team with one mission: saving America's Everglades. Central Everglades Planning Project is at the heart of that mission. SERP is not just a project, it's a bold vision, phase by phase. We're building the pieces of a system that will move water more naturally from Lake Okeechobee through the central and southern Everglades, all the way to Florida Bay. SEP New Water is already complete. It's delivering results. SEP EAA is on track with storage and treatment that'll be online by 2029. SEP North and SEP South will keep that water moving, reconnecting the River of Grass and rehydrating Shark River Slough. And today, we celebrate another key step in that journey: the Blue Shanty Flowway. This feature will open the gates, literally and figuratively, to restoring flows into Everglades National Park. It's a shining example of partnership in action. Your Army Corps of Engineers advancing design and construction of key features, while South Florida Water Management District takes on this flowway with drive and determination. Together, we're not just talking about ideas, we're delivering results. Much of our recent progress comes down to one thing: commitment. State and federal leaders across our government have stepped up with resources, authorizations, and shared purpose. We're moving faster and with more momentum than at any other time in history. So let's keep that momentum going. The Everglades is more than wetlands. It is a living, breathing ecosystem that supports wildlife, communities, tribes, and the economy of this great state. It's a sanctuary, a treasure, and a responsibility. The directive that I've received from the Secretary of the Army, from the Assistant Secretary of the Army for Civil Works, and the Chief of Engineers is simple: deliver. Go fast, get things done, because this is our moment, and future generations are counting on us to seize it. Thank you for being a part of this historic effort. Let's keep pushing, keep partnering, and keep restoring America's Everglades together. Thank you.
I'm the luckiest man alive. I absolutely am. You know why? I came out of college and I said, I'm going to dedicate my life to the environment. And then I got this opportunity to work for an incredible board of directors. We've got Ben Butler, we've got Tom Hurley, we've got Colonel Charlotte Roman, and the ever-popular alligator Ron Bergeron, where a meeting does not go by where he does not talk about Tamiami Trail, uncorking it, the Blue Shanty Flowway. And that relentless leadership has been imposed on me, and I impose it on my staff, and we're here to do it because we're very excited about making Florida's environment better. Governor, when you took office, everybody said you were bold, like very bold for the environment, and you came out with your executive order and you said, we're going to achieve more now. That word now is very important. And then you got bolder. On the second term, another executive order, achieve even more now. Right? We stepped up. We're like, this is a great opportunity. But then, no, he's not done. 2 months ago, he says, not only are you going to build what we're funding, but you're going to build what the federal government is funding too. Get to work. That's incredible. We are speeding up timelines. We're getting it done quicker. We're already here less than 2 months later, breaking ground on the Blue Shanty Flowway. And I'm telling you, the staff at the Water Management District, they didn't blink. They were like, we can do this. We got this. We're going to do this. And here we are because of that steadfast drive to do better for South Florida. It's exciting times. Now, what is the Blue Shanty Flowway? So basically, this berm right here is in the way of water flowing from the north into Everglades National Park, where Pedro Ramos, who is here from the park, wants it. Where are you, Pedro? There he is, right behind the governor. We're going to take out 10 miles of berm, just like this one, to get that water from the Everglades into Everglades National Park. When we envision this water flowing, 370,000 acre-feet of water would be going through the Everglades. What does that mean? That is 15 million semi-trucks hauling liquid. 15 million. You know how many semi-trucks are in the United States? 3 million. We're going to need a lot more trucks. All right, I'm done with the jokes. I'm not getting good laughs, so I'm worried about this. But we're going to break this ground. We ordered some rain, so you see a flowway right in front of you hitting a berm. That is the Blue Shanty flowway. We're going to get rid of this berm. And so if I could get the board members and the speakers, let's shovel some dirt and break this ground.